My loves, I am delighted to introduce you to my tiny treasure boxes. Now this kit of 3 little trinket boxes comes in dark wood, light wood and white wood, and you get all 3 in the one kit, and they open like that. They've got little hinges on them which are lovely. They've got little closures on the front here that tuck behind this little section here, and you can do all sorts of different things with the insides of these boxes. This one I've left empty, put a couple of little labels in there that I can write on. This one I've put a little pocket on the front, and I've got a little greetings card tucked in the back there like that. So there we go. They are the 3 tiny treasure boxes. Come with me and let's see how I put them together. So a quick word about the printables before we crack on and make this box. For every hinged box you want to make, you need to cut out 2 of this sheet here. You don't need to reverse print anything, although I have given you in the kit these textures. So if you do want to reverse print this sheet, you can do. It will mean that your finished box has just got 1 layer as opposed to the 2 here. And that makes for a nice sturdy box, and it starts to feel a bit like wood because of the weight of it. But you've got the option, if you want to make some boxes more quickly, you can just use 1 layer, and then you don't have to print this sheet here, which contains these 2 panels. There's 2 wooden panels. I've already made up one of mine, and you also get these 2 nice little panels here, and in each kit as well you get all these little bits and bobs. Because you're printing 2 of these, you will get more hinges than you need, but that's fine. You can save them for another project. Right, let's crack on. I am on 250 gram as usual. I'll put those to one side and we'll have a look at the actual box itself. Now you've got score lines to follow here, here, here and here, and you've got those on all 4 sides. So when you've got those scored, you can turn your project over and you can begin to fold all of these into the middle. This one here is a little bit skinny, so be mindful that you get that score and that fold in particular nice and accurate there, and just continue in that vein all the way around. There we are, and when you've got that, you've got some options. You can either, if you've reverse printed, you're good to go. Just use what you've got there. If you want to use these panels, which I do because I like that weighty box, you've got a choice of the wood panel that matches it, or you've got one of these lovely guys here. And for the sake of the video, I'm going to use one of these lovely guys here. So I'm going to begin by gluing this to the inside of my box. If you want extra rigidity, you can add an extra layer as well if you want. You could add both of those layers, but that might be over egging the pudding. So I'm going to pop this in the middle. There's a bit of a border all the way around. That's going to be hidden. So that's grand. And then I'm going to glue this form together, and I'm going to start with these 2 straight edges. These 2 edges with a bit of the angle on are going on last. So I'm going to glue, actually I think I'll glue them all together and they can be going tacky. So I'll start by gluing the tabs on the 2 pieces with the side, with the straight edges. These are the bits with the angled bits on them. Looks really pretty, this William Morris pattern. I'm a sucker for anything William Morris. Right, so we want these little guys to be nice and tacky so we don't have to hold them for too long. And I'm going to roll this around, roll it around like that, so that when I come to finish it off, I've got that nice profile there, that nice rectangular profile. Stick that down. Do the same on the other side. Stick that down also. Re-stick that one down, and then stick this one down. Now this one is going to curl around. Actually, before we do that, let's put just a little bit of glue just on these inside edges here. There, like that. So I'm going to curl this one round now. It fits nicely between these other 2 columns that we've made. And then we're going to just manhandle that around a little bit, push these sides in, and whilst holding this, whilst holding this with one hand, with this hand, we're going to come in and roll this one around and fiddle around with it a little bit until it sits nicely. Push them in at the corners, not too hard because you are dealing with paper after all. There we go, and that is our box there. And there we go, there's your actual box. Let's put it together. So to make each box into a closing folding box, we need 6 of these panels here, these little matting panels, and we've got a little closure here, and we've got 2 hinges. So let's go and stick those on. Let's deal with the hinges first of all. I'm going to fold those in half by hand because they're too fiddly for my scoring board. There we go. And then I'm going to position my box like that. It doesn't matter which way round it goes. I'm going to get me glue. I'm not going to glue right up to the centre there. I'm just going to allow just a little tiny bit, just a whisker. And then I'm going to glue on both sides, on both of my hinges. Like that. Whoops-a-daisy. Take one side of my box, doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to, by eye now, position these hinges in the middle. The fold obviously needs to align with the centre of the box here, and I'm not centralising them as such, I'm just seeing where how far away I am from the edge there and doing the same on the other side. That's an easier way than trying to actually take in too much information with your eyes. Just do it like that and that works fine. So there's your hinges on, and we're going to let that dry before we go opening it. Just line that up nicely, and these pieces here are your matting panels for the sides. You don't have to use them, but they're a nice little addition to pretty it up. And of course you can also mix and match if you wanted to. Let's grab one from the dark wood. You could mix and match your pieces there, which is also quite nice. So here's a matting panel going on the side. And another matting panel going on the side. Flip it over, so our hinge is over here now, and let's do the other sides. Oh, I forgot about that bit. That's your actual closure for the front, you need that bit as well. There. Another one. I have lightly inked these, did I say that? Just very lightly. Well, there's another going on there, and all these layers, they add to the weight and the premium feel of this lovely little thing. Now you don't have to use these front ones because you are going to partially be covering those up. Let's get a bit of ink on here, shall we? Yes, let's. There we go. This is going to go on here like this and be your closure. So it's up to you whether you want to stick another one of those on there. This will go over the top. I still think that's a nice addition, you know. Why not? We've got them, let's use them. So on there, and the other one on the bottom. There we go. It's looking nice. It's feeling nice and substantial now. Oh, I'm opening it. Look at this. Look, that's my box. That inside looks really, really well. I kind of wish I'd done that with the bottom one as well, but I haven't. So there we go. You can. Right, closure. Let's have a look. What have I done with my closure? There it is. This is going to glue just at the top, the flat area at the top, and that's going to stick right in the middle there. And you may find that you don't need to put this piece on. That's your little tuck for your closure there. I'll stick it on for the sake of the video. So we're just popping a little bit of glue on either side allow a bit of wiggle room for your closure to go on. Close it up, centralise, there, and pop this on in the middle. Whoops-a-daisy. There we go. That's just grand. Take those apart for now so they can dry. This actually sits over the top and looks quite well just on its own without the closure. So there we are. So that is basically it, my loves. That's the box and how to make it. You get a few other bits and bobs to decorate your box with. You get this lovely little tiny treasures. Label to go on there, which is a nice simple looking affair. Nice and pared down, simplistic, elegant kind of design. We've got a bigger one here that's got nothing on it, so you can decorate that right on that. You can do what you want with it. You could layer those up like that. So you've got 2 layers. You've also got a little wooden panel, if you prefer that as an option, which is also very sweet. And you've also got this one here, which is just a little creamy coloured label. So they're all rather nice. And you do also have this, and if you wanted to trim this down a little bit and pop that on the top, there's another option for you as well. But that is how you make the boxes. So I have got a few little bits left over, and I like to use and think creatively about the bits and pieces that I've got left over. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little pocket in the front here. And I'm going to use this piece. I'm going to start by folding it in half, which might be a little bit too deep. Okay, I'll have a look. A little too deep for what I want. So I'm going to trim some of this off. And you can see that it's too long. It's sticking out over the edge. I could stick it on like that if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. No, I'm not. I'm going to make myself a little mark with a pencil or a pen, whatever I can find here. Lay it down. Make a mark either side so I can see where I need to fold, stroke, cut. And then, using a pair of scissors, I'm going to cut up to the halfway point there on both sides. There. I'm going to cut this bit off on my fold line. Like that. Then I'm going to fold this back down. Then I'm going to fold these 2 pieces round. So I've made little tabs here now. Let's cut that little bit off there. Make a little indent there on both sides. It's easier to work with tabs if they're a little bit angled like that. See if I've got that right. That is perfect. And then I'm just going to glue that in. Right, let's do it. So I've got my little tabs here. A little bit of glue on those. I could glue this piece together. That might be a good idea. A nice rigid little deep pocket there. Oops-a-daisy, don't touch that bit, Emma, you twit. There we go. Right, which way up do I want this to be? If I ink this edge, I'm going to pop it up this way. This is my folded edge. I mean, you could go either way, really. Let's put my folded edge at the top. I want a bit of ink there. Right, so with your tabs, hopefully inwards a little bit, we're going to just slide this in now. It's going to be a bit of a faff and a fiddle because it's little and we're dealing with a tight space, but that works really, really well. And I'm setting this in just a little bit. So just position that to where you want it to be. There. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. And then we're going to have to get in with a tool. Let's try a pair. Let's get my little ruler, see if that works. To get in there and just make sure that those tabs that we've got glue on are actually sitting flush against the side of the box. Oh, I can get in there with my little finger. There we go. There we are. That's an optional little extra for you. So I've made a little thing and I could stick that on the front if I wanted to. I can make a little card out of this now. I could fold this in half. Let's go ahead and do that, see what it looks like. I'm just playing now, you understand. This was never intended. And I need to trim this down a little. Gonna pop that on because I've got it. Stick that on there. I've got a little, made myself a little note card now. If I wanted to gift this, for instance, I've got a little card I could write something on. Your recipient can keep things in there. You could make some little note cards, do all sorts of different things with that. So that's that. And I've got this one left over and I'm going to stick this one in the bottom because I can. Because it's nice to use up all my bits and bobs and I like gluing things and sticking things. There we go. I've still got another one of these, haven't I? I've got another little bit of, oh no, I used it here. So there we go. That's that box done. I can get this in here now. I have to encourage it because it's the first time it's been used. There we go. There is our little tiny treasures box made. Have a look at the other ones I've done.